Hey everyone, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a full face of all my makeup favorites of 2019. This year was a really good year for makeup finds for me. I pretty much have one or more items in every makeup category. Some items are actually repeats of last year, and I'll just be showing that if nothing has really replaced that category. Otherwise, all these products have been my go-to since I purchased them. Some items have been in my collection for only 3 months, whereas others I've been using for over a year. I have a really strong sense of how these products work for me. They are products that I reach for that I know that can do me no wrong. And yeah, having said that, let's get right into this video. For the first category, they are primers, and I have 3 of them to share with you. This one is the Tatcha Silk Canvas. So this one I purchased this year and is the one that I've been reaching for the most out of the 3. And then I also have a travel size of the Nude by Nature Perfecting Primer and the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Pore Refiner. Today I'm going to be using the Tatcha Silk Canvas, so before we get into that, I just want to do a quick shout out to these two. For the Dr. Brandt Pores No More, this does a really good job at filling in any enlarged pore areas or textured areas, and this was also really good at filling in the scars that I have above my lip. This is a really good primer, but it is slightly drying for me, so for those of you with more normal to oily skin, you might not feel that as much, but for those of you with dry skin like me, you'll definitely notice it, but this is still a really good pore filling primer. For the next primer, the Nude by Nature primer, this one really shocked me. This is a glycerin based primer, so I thought all it would do is just be a nice hydrating type of primer and just have a really good tack to the skin to hold makeup. But what surprised me as well is that this is also really good at smoothing out and blurring texture. When I use this, I've also noticed that my pores look nicely filled, and this was able to fill in the scar area above my lips as well. So both of these are really good. I would definitely recommend this if you're more of a drier skin type, just because this doesn't dry out my skin. And if you are a more oilier skin type, you might like the Dr. Brandt Pores No More. Either way, I think anyone with any skin type can use these primers. And finally, we're going to be going into the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. So this is a silicone-based primer. It's like a putty type of formula. It comes with a little scooper here, but I do find it a bit deceiving just because going up to this line, it is a bit too much for me, so I tend to go lower than that. This is the larger size that I purchased near the end of the year. I actually had the sample size of it earlier on. And what I like about it is that it just does a really nice job at blurring my imperfections, and it's really good at holding onto your makeup and making it last for a good amount of time. It is silicone based, but it doesn't break me out. It's also not drying on my skin, and I have noticed that this does a little bit of color correcting as well. For the scar area here, I find I have to use a lot to get it to fill in, but I don't really try to fill it in. It just kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't bother me that much anymore. I used this all summer when I first got it in the sample size, and I still rely on it now. It's really nice under the eyes as well. Just because I'm not going anywhere today, I'm just going to put it on my lids as well. I don't find this particularly excellent for eye primer, but just for today, I'm going to be using it because I'm not going anywhere. And sorry about my voice, it's kind of cracky. I haven't been feeling well because, you know, holidays. Keep in mind my pores are pretty large. It's kind of hard to fill them in. But looking in the mirror here, I do feel like it has definitely smoothed out my face really well and prepped my skin really well for makeup. Overall, the top 3 primers I have ever tried, I love using them, and they're definitely a great go-to in my collection. For foundation, I only have one I'm about to feature here, and I am so blown away with how good this foundation is. And that is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Natural Finish Anti-Pollution Foundation. This foundation is so nice. I am so impressed that a drugstore foundation can look this good on my skin. The color I'm using is Sand 220. I'm going to take a pump here. Here's the color. As you can see, it's kind of like a thick cream type. But what I love about this foundation is how natural it looks on my skin. I don't find this does anything significant for my texture. Like, it doesn't do a lot of blurring. What you see right now with how smooth it looks, that's from the primer. It's not necessarily from the foundation. But it definitely doesn't emphasize my texture either. It just makes my skin look really good, and it lasts all day. I have worn this for a regular 10-hour day multiple times, just, you know, going to work and then coming back home. Here's one side of it. It looks so nice and natural. Today, for some reason, it's looking really good in terms of my shade, but yesterday I noticed it was a little bit too pink for me. So maybe once I finish this one up, I'll find one that leans more into the yellow undertones. This one says it's for light to medium skin tones with subtle olive undertones. That's why I thought I was olive undertone for a little bit, but again, after seeing it yesterday and even a little bit today, I kind of noticed that it's a bit too pink for me. But again, it's not that noticeable, and I've used this for like half the year now. And yes, I actually like applying this foundation with my hands the best, and that's what I find makes it so good for an everyday go to work, go to school type of foundation. That's all I'm doing foundation. Next, I want to mention one concealer, and that is the Glossier Stretch Concealer, and I have the shade Medium. You've already seen this featured in my foundation-free makeup routine. This is the concealer that I have always reached for when I wanted to do a foundation-free look. I always just apply this in the center of my face. It's just really good at evening out my skin tone while looking super natural. However, I don't like using this on my breakouts at all, just because even when I try to build up the coverage, and I am able to, it always disappears throughout the day very quickly, even if I were to set it. So I strictly just use this concealer just for overall complexion and just canceling out any redness. The concealer I'm going to be using right now to cover up my holiday breakout is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the color NC20. This is a sample size of it. I actually ended up purchasing a full size. I'm not 100% featuring it in my annual favorites just because I haven't used it long enough. So I want to play with it a little bit more, and maybe I'll feature it in next year's. So I'm just going to cover these spots very quickly with my pinky finger. Alright, now that my base is done, I'm going to go into eyeshadow, and this eyeshadow I actually purchased last year and mentioned it in a favorites, but I didn't mention it in my annual favorites of 2018, and that is the Pixie and Whaley eyeshadow palette. I've actually been reaching for this palette this year a lot more than the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette that I featured in my annual favorites last year. I mostly use this top row right here. If you've watched any of my videos and have seen some type of pink sparkle on my lids, it has been this shadow right here with this one on the sides just for depth. Today though, instead of using the top row here, which is what I typically go for, I'm going to actually use the bottom row. I'm just going to start off with the matte brown color in the palette and just cover my entire lid. I'm going for a super simple look since I'm not going out anywhere today. So I'm going to go into the dark sparkly brown here and just smudge it out on my waterline. And by waterline, I mean outer corner. Alright, now I'm taking the light pink shade, I'm putting it in the inner corner. Alright, and that is it for the eyeshadow. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere today, so I'm not getting too elaborate or fancy. So for mascara, I'm actually going to be going in with the L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. I have mentioned this in an annual favorites before. I believe it was 2017, and the reason I have this is because I ran out of the Hair and Make mascara and I haven't repurchased it yet. And this is probably my favorite drugstore mascara that I have found so far. Alright, eyes are officially done. Now I'm just gonna fill in my eyebrows. I'm going to be using a pomade and then a brow gel. So for the pomade, it is the Eco Brow pomade in the color Liz, which is a dark brown color. Again, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in an annual favorites in the past as well. And now I'm going to go in for the brow gel, and that is the Glossier Boy Brow in the color brown. This is definitely the best brow gel I have come across. It's just so easy to use. It's not too wet and doesn't make your brows look super dark and stick together and look very unnatural. It just adds to the naturalness that you're trying to achieve with your brows by making them look more fuller after you fill them in. Alright, now eyebrows are officially done, and next I'm about to show you a handful of blushes that I have been loving this year. I think blushes are my favorite makeup product ever. Like, if I were to do my makeup, I absolutely must have a blush on my cheeks. It's the one product that I need to look alive. So I have 5 to share with you. The first one is the Nude Sticks in the Nude. Again, you've seen me feature this in my foundation-free makeup routine. So if you want to see how this looks, go check it out in that video. This is a really good long-lasting cream blush. Same goes with this Can Make cream blush. This color is 05 Apricot, I believe, but either way, the number on the back says 05. This blush hasn't been mentioned a lot, but I really do love it. It's a really nice, bright color. I wear this a lot in the summertime, and this also has an SPF of 50 plus, PA 4 plus. I don't 100% rely on this to give me the full broad spectrum protection that I need, but it definitely helps to solidify the SPF 50 that I apply prior. And because I put this on my cheeks right here, I am hoping that it helps prevent any dark spots from forming. And for the last cream blush, it is the Glossier Cloud Paint in the color Dusk. It is the perfect neutral brown pink type of color. I reached for this a lot when I first purchased it in the fall time. And I actually also like using these two to layer underneath a powder blush. So I think today I'm probably going to go with the Cloud Paint one. I'm just going to take a small amount here, and then buff it out. For the last 2 blushes I'm about to mention, they are both from Patrick Ta. These are his new monochromatic moment blushes. So the first color is She's Sincere. It's a really nice peach color. And then I have She's Seductive, which is a plummy mauve color. Out of the 2, I am like super in love with She's Seductive. This reminds me a lot of Tarte's Exposed, except maybe a little bit more dimensional, because there is some type of shimmer in this once you apply it on your face. It's not just a flat matte blush. And I think for today I'm going to go in with She's Seductive, just because everything else I'm doing around my face is quite neutral. And now I'm going to move on to bronzer, and I have been loving the Jouer Sun Swept Bronzer Duo. I have the color light to medium here. This was in the same VIB sale purchase as the Patrick Ta blushes. And just like the blushes, I have also been using this bronzer duo every single day. The other bronzers I have were more suited to my skin tone when it was a bit more to the medium side, whereas this Sunswept bronzer duo from Jouer in light to medium actually suits my skin tone right now and for most of the year. And I usually just mix the two together and apply it to the high points of my face. And I like that it doesn't come off as strong either, and it's pretty easy to blend out. I'm going to contour some parts of my face really quickly, and for that, I will be using the Two for School Art Class by Rodent contour palette. This is another favorite I've mentioned again in a previous year. This is probably holy grail status at this point. Like, I can't imagine myself using any other contour palette. It's just not too ashy, not too warm. It's just like the nice neutral contour color. All right, we're almost near the end. One more product for my face and then onto the lips. So for highlight, this is one that I've tried this year, and this is a very raved about highlighter, and that is the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek Highlights, and this is the color Lunch Money. I purchased this because it reminded me a little bit of the Becca Press Powder Highlight in the color Moonstone. I really like the pale gold type of highlight. This one does, however, look a little bit warmer, but I still find that I can reach for it no problem, and I tend to not use cooler colors on my face that often. So I'm just going to put this on the typical highlighting areas. I've always heard people talk about the ColourPop highlighters and how they have a very interesting texture, and that is so true. It's like a creamy powder style of texture, but the way it applies is as soft as a cream, and I find it very easy to use as well. And even with the Canadian dollar conversion, I still find this a very good value considering the amount that you do get. All right, lips is last, and just like the blushes, I do have a handful of lip products to mention. The first ones I'm going to mention are from Glossier. They are the Generation G lipsticks. I have the color Cake and Zip. So this color is Cake, this color is Zip. These are both, for me, the perfect colors to use if you do want the blotted type of look. I don't find the colors last particularly long, but they definitely don't fade in a weird way either, and I find that I can use these really easily without needing a mirror. Out of the two, I've definitely reached for Cake the most because it's just a really lovely neutral type of color, but Zip definitely has its perks. It's a really nice cherry kiss type of color when you just want a little bit of more rouge on your face. If you do want a super pigmented defined lip, I don't think you'll like these ones at all, but if you do want a blotted style look that will still give you some type of pigmentation, definitely look into these lipsticks. Next lip product I've reached for a lot as well, and that is actually the Burt's Bees liquid lipstick in the color Sandy Seas. So this is the color. It's a really nice pink brown color, and this is also a really highly reached for lip product in my collection because of how natural it looks and how comfortable it is to wear. The lasting power isn't that great. I actually noticed that the Glossier Generation G lasts a little bit longer than this one, but I have really enjoyed the color, and it has been a very reached for product, and it's always living in my purse. Those lip products are great, and like I said, I reached for them a lot this year, but I have to say my favorite has been the combo with these three products. This is the Patrick Ta lip liner in She's Humble, MAC's lip liner in Strip Down, and their luster lipstick in Patisserie. These three products together just make my lips look so good. So the first product is the Patrick Ta She's Humble. It's a really nice brown color, almost like a nice contour color. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this lip liner on my lips. And I'm going to apply it really softly too. Next, I'm going to go into MAC's Strip Down, and I'm going to shadow certain areas of my lips. And finally, I'm going to go into the MAC Luster lipstick in the color Patisserie, which is a really nice neutral colored pink. And this has been my favorite lip combo this whole year. All right, and that is officially the end of this Get Ready With Me with my makeup favorites of the year of 2019. Be sure to stay tuned for my skincare favorites of 2019 after this video, and also expect a skin update because it has been over a year since I have been using 0.3% adapalene. I really hope you enjoyed the holidays. I had so much fun celebrating Christmas with my family. New Year's is about to come, and then there's also the Orthodox calendar for Christmas and New Year's with my Eastern European friends as well. So I'm really excited to celebrate that with them as well. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate that you stuck around even though I haven't been super consistent this year. A lot's happened, and I'm going to try to be better next year with my video uploads and try to put out more variety of content for you other than just review videos and kind of like accumulation of garbage videos. And have a happy new year, and I'll see you all soon. Ciao.